Capitalism works because of trust. And so if people act crookedly, or if they take advantage of the system, which, seems to have been, at least the public perception is that happened on a large scale in 2008, the whole thing starts to rock. And it makes people very uneasy. Money is trust. Because all money is a symbol of the possibility of engaging in an honest transaction. That's all money is. People say it's just paper. Well, it's not. Paper is a marker for trust. It's a promissory note. And the promise is, well, I have this piece of paper and I can exchange it with you for something of the value that we decree it has. And you won't screw me. And if it, like I said, the probability doesn't have to be very high that I'm going to get burnt before that starts to fall apart. There's a tipping point with corruption, and you don't need much corruption before you hit that tipping point. And so what that means is the moral behavior of each individual is far more important than people generally think, because it doesn't take many cheaters getting away with it to make those who don't cheat think that they're fools. Well, the only solution to these sorts of problems that I've ever been able to come up with is that you have to attend to your own moral behavior. Like a complex system, like any complex social system, basically depends on trust. Trust. And trust roughly means you will say that you do something, and then you'll do it. And I'll say that I'll do something, and then I'll do it. And then I don't have to worry about the fact that you're chock full of snakes, because you could do anything. God only knows what you're capable of. But if you're able to act in accordance with your word, I can take you as a simplified entity. And then we can do business even if we don't know each other. I'll give you a quick example. So one day, one of my students, I'd lent my student my car, and they hit a rainstorm and tapped it into an overpass and bent the bumper, and it was an old Cadillac. And I took it to a shop, and they said, this was about 10 years ago, and they said, well, $1,500. And I thought, car isn't worth $1,500. So I went online, and you can go online and have people bid for the right to give you a part. So I went online and I said, I need this bumper assembly for this Cadillac. So this guy phoned me from the southern US, and he said, well, I've got one of these. He said, I'll give it to you for $120. And I thought, okay, good. So then half an hour, he had a real southern accent, eh? Half an hour he phones back and he says, well, I went out there and I looked at the thing, and one of the plastic panels on one side has a scratch in it, and I just thought I'd let you know in case you didn't want it. And I thought, oh, well, isn't that interesting that he did that? And I said, no, it's okay, like as long as it's functional, it's better than the crushed up thing I have. And so that was good. And then half an hour later he phoned me and he said, do you want the whole assembly with the lights and everything? And I said, yeah, well, that's what I put in the quote. And he said, oh, I thought you just wanted the bumper. That's why it was so cheap. But it's okay, I'll send it to you anyway. And I thought, that's why capitalism works in the West. That's why. It's like, I don't know this guy. He's from some small town in, the southern US. He doesn't know who I am. He's got, from a very narrow perspective, he has every reason in the world to overcharge me and send me junk. But he doesn't. Not only does he not, he goes above and beyond the call of duty to show that, he tells me what's wrong with the part, and he gives it to me for less than he should have. Now, you think, well, that's not a canonical example. Wrong. It is a canonical example, and we have proof of that, and the proof is eBay. So when eBay started, everybody thought, that can't work. You'll send me junk, and I'll send you a check that bounces. And so we're not going to get anywhere with that. So when eBay first started, there were, what do they call those? They're like a little insurance company. I can't remember the name of. They're like a broker. Anyways,
like an intermediary.
Yeah, the idea was, for a percentage, I'll basically guarantee the trade. I'll make sure that this guy sends you the real thing, and that you send him money, and you'll pay me 5%. And if the thing fails, it's insurance. Well, it turned out those people couldn't make any money, and the reason for that was the rate of honest exchange was staggeringly high. Staggeringly high between complete strangers on opposite ends of the continent. And now, eventually, eBay developed a rating system, so everybody's reputation was tracked. And what's interesting about that is that if you have a reputation of less than 98%, you're not doing very well. Like, the average is up in the high 90s. And there are people on eBay who have like 100,000 trades with 100% rating. So it makes trade transparent, trust, because I can safely send a sizable amount of money to a complete stranger and be virtually assured that what I'll get is what they said they'll send me. It's anybody who thinks that capitalism is immoral should think about that. I mean, that's so moral that it's a miracle. So now, when that trust starts to get eroded, like eBay would collapse. If 5% of the people regularly cheated, eBay would collapse.